Hi and welcome to ManageEngine AlarmsOne Webinar series. AlarmsOne is an alert management tool with which you can integrate your IT management tools like monitoring tools, project management tools, log management tools, etc. and centralize the alerts from these applications and manage them from one place. This is the third webinar of the series, and if you have missed out our previous webinars, you can watch the videos in our website. The topic for today's webinar is how to manage your on-call technicians and their work shifts efficiently using schedules and overrides. Let me introduce the speakers. I am Jensen from AlarmsOne. I am a marketing analyst, and I have Bhavna with me. She is our product expert and she has been with AlarmsOne since its beginning. AlarmsOne is a product from Zoho Corp, which was established in 1996. We are a company behind three brands, namely Zoho Work Online, ManageEngine, and WebNMS. Zoho Work Online offers a suite of 35 plus business productivity apps like Zoho CRM, Zoho Mail, Zoho Connect, Zoho Desk, and Zoho Creator, and it has over 25 million users. ManageEngine makes IT management apps and has over 25 apps like Op Manager, App Manager, Site 24/7, and Service Desk Plus. ManageEngine has over 120,000 enterprise customers. WebNMS is an enterprise IoT solutions provider and it has over 25,000 deployments worldwide. I'll read out the agenda for today's webinar. We'll see how you can add your team in AlarmsOne so that they can act on the alerts from different applications that are integrated with AlarmsOne. We'll discuss how you can easily select your on-call staff by defining work shifts with weekly, monthly, or custom shift rotations. We'll also discuss how you can override a user's shift with another when your on-call person is unavailable. And we'll also see how to associate a defined schedule with a notification profile to activate it. At the end of this webinar, we'll have a question and answer session. You can post your questions anytime by clicking the chat button. We'll reply to your questions at the end of this session. In the present scenario where businesses are driven by technology, many organizations use multiple IT management tools to manage their IT infrastructure. These tools trigger a huge number of IT alerts. According to a FireEye survey, organizations require at least 500 hours a month to respond to alerts, which is equal to 16 hours a day, and that puts us with a requirement of 3 full-time technicians to take care of all these alerts. And nowadays, almost every business has a ops team with a number of technicians to manage its IT infrastructure. The advantage with AlarmsOne is that no matter how many applications you use to manage your IT, or no matter how many technicians you have in your team, you just need one AlarmsOne account for your entire team and for all your applications. Let's see how you can add your team in AlarmsOne. To add a contact, go to Menu and click Contacts and click Add Contact. And in this window, enter the name, email, and mobile number of your team member and choose the SMS provider. AlarmsOne has 3 SMS providers, Twilio, Clickatel, and Bulk SMS. You can choose one among the 3 according to the service availability in your area. You can also enable or disable the login access for the user and choose the type of user and give him different roles. You can also select the applications for which user should receive notifications, and you can also choose the mode through which the user should be notified. In AlarmsOne, we have different roles. We have one super admin per account and multiple alarm admins, alarm users, and multiple alarm contacts. While super admin, alarm admins, and alarm users have login access, the alarm contacts do not have login access. They just receive the notifications through email, SMS, and call. Let's see the different privileges of different users. The super admin is the one who starts the organization account and he has control over the entire application. A super admin can add new contacts to the virtual organization and integrate applications with AlarmsOne, and he can also define notification profiles, schedules, and escalation policies. The superadmin can view alerts from all the applications in Alarms tab. He can also view the on-call schedules with all the team members in the view. Let's see the different privileges of Alarm Admin. If you are an Alarm Admin, you can add users who are already members of the virtual organization but not part of AlarmsOne yet. You can't add new users who are not part of the virtual organization. You can view alarms from all the applications in Alarms tab, and you can receive notifications from all applications. You can also view the on-call schedules with all the members in the view. An alarm admin can associate contacts and different applications, whereas he cannot add new applications and cannot add new members who are not in the virtual organization. If you are an alarm user, you can view alerts only from the applications that are associated with you. And you can view only the upcoming shift in your schedule. And you can also receive notifications from all the applications that are associated with you. In AlarmsOne, we have a type of user who doesn't have an AlarmsOne account but receives email, SMS, and call notifications from the applications that are associated with him. And an alarm contact cannot view the alerts in AlarmsOne as he doesn't have an account. Now Bhavna will explain how to define work shifts and decide your on-call person.
Hi, this is Bhavna from AlarmsOne. I'm a technical person working for AlarmsOne. Now I'm going to explain you about on-call schedule feature in AlarmsOne. In most organizations, people work 24/7 to monitor their IT infrastructure. More than one person are involved in resolving alerts occurring from different entities in their IT infrastructure. To get your alerts resolved faster and to minimize MTTR, that is mean time to resolve, it is important to send alerts to right person at right time. For that, we have this on-call schedule feature in AlarmsOne. Here you can configure people working in your team in different shift with their working duration. In this way, whenever an alert comes in, depending on the time at which an alert comes, we will send the alert to the right person. Now I will explain you about adding the schedule feature for different scenarios. To add the schedule in AlarmsOne, hit on the burger menu. In the left pane, choose schedules and hit on the plus icon. You could see the profile like this. Let me tell you how you could add schedules according to different scenarios. I have a scenario where I have to configure a schedule for the first quarter of the year, that is from Jan to March. So work in my team is split into three shifts, say first, second, and third. And Gary, Harold, and John work in my first, second, and third shift respectively. They work for about 8 hours each day, and there is no shift rotation at all, which means that if Gary remains in the morning shift, he will remain in morning shift for the first quarter. So I will tell you how you could configure this in AlarmsOne. So I have given my schedule name and I have configured my shift in such way that my first shift starts from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and I have put Gary in my users list. You can add more than one person in a particular shift. In the second shift, I have put Herald for the time duration of 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And my third shift starts from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and John is working in that shift. So for the first quarter, I do not want to rotate any of these members and they will be working in the same duration throughout this first quarter. So I have specified as no rotation and I have given the start and end time of my schedule and I could hit save. If configured in this way, whenever an alert comes in at morning time, say for example at 8 a.m., I will check the person who is working in the morning shift and send the alert directly to the person who is in morning shift. So this is a configuration example for a shift with no rotation. So I'm going to explain you a second scenario where we have a similar schedule. For the first quarter, again my work is split into three shifts with Gary, Harold and John working in first, second and third shift respectively. Again, they work for 8 hours each day. And here I have a monthly shift rotation. That is, if Gary is working in morning shift in the first month, that is on Jan, then Gary will work in afternoon shift in the month of Feb and at night shift in the month of March. So to do a configuration to work in this way, I'll show you an example of a schedule configure. So this is an example for a monthly rotation shift. Here again, I have configured Gary, Harold, and John in my first, second, and third shift respectively. And I have given the rotation as month rotation and the date as 1, and I have specified the time as 6 a.m. So on 1st of every month at 6 a.m., this rotation happens. For example, Gary is in the morning shift on Jan, and at Feb 1, after 6 a.m., Gary will be moved to the second shift. He will be no longer in first shift and will not receive alerts that is triggered in the morning duration. So, Harold will be moved to the night shift and John will be moved to the morning shift. Shift rotation works in cyclic order in AlarmsOne. Here again, you could specify your scheduled start time, and if you do not specify any time, any end time, the schedule will work continuously. So this is an example for a monthly rotation schedule. Now let me explain you about the third scenario. Here again I have similar configuration where I'm going to configure a schedule for the first quarter of the year, and my work is again split into three shifts, and Gary, Harold and John are going to work on first, second and third shift respectively for each hours a day. Now I'm going to configure a bi-weekly rotation. That means I have to rotate my shift once in every 2 weeks. For that, again, I'm going to configure a schedule with the same name, and I have provided the persons in my shift accordingly. And in the place where you have to rotate, I'm going to choose weekly rotation, and I'm going to choose the day on which my schedule has to rotate and the time at which the rotation has to happen. And I have provided the weekly count of 2, which means that this rotation should happen once in 2 weeks. So if I have provided the weekly count as 3 here, then this rotation will happen for one time in 3 weeks. So this way you can configure your schedules in weekly order. Scenario 4. Uh, Here I have a different scenario of my shift to work in custom shift rotation. So I have a shift where each people in my shift remains in that particular time duration only for 5 days. I will show you an example how to configure this kind of scenario. Again, I will take same working scenario of Gary, Harold and John, and my work is split into three shifts in a day with each person working in first, second and third shift respectively for 8 hours a day. So again, I have configured a similar schedule. Here in my rotation duration, I have provided my rotation pattern as custom rotation, and I have given the number of days for which this rotation should happen. Here I have provided 5 days. So this rotation will happen once in a 5 days. So for example, if I have provided 10 here, then for this rotation will start to happen once in every 10 days. Then I have this scenario 5. Here again, the similar schedule scenario on one different condition that my Saturdays and Sundays are off. I do not want to send notification to my shift person on the weekends. So how to do a configuration for this kind of scenario in AlarmsOne? For that, Again, you have to configure the shift and provide a schedule name. And I have provided a rotation type of no rotation here. And in my exclude days, I have provided the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So whenever an alert comes in on Saturday, it will not be triggered notification to any of the users at the particular shift, as the days are excluded. So if you want to exclude a particular day or two from schedule, you could choose those days in this configuration. So on the chosen day, the notification will not reach the person in the shift. Now let me show you how you could activate this schedule by associating them with a notification profile. Before associating them with a notification profile, we have to define escalation policy. To define escalation policy in AlarmsOne, again you have to click on the burger menu icon in the header of the AlarmsOne account. Then you choose the settings option. In the settings page, in the left pane, you could see escalation policy. Click on the plus icon and you could see a form similar to this. Once give a name for your escalation policy. So what is this escalation policy? It allows you to set the level of escalation for an alert in your AlarmsOne. For example, here I have chosen my escalation policy to send notification immediately to my shift, and if the person in the shift does not respond to my alert, if the alarm is not acknowledged or closed after 5 minutes, then the notification is escalated to next person, that is the super admin of my account. This feature is to guarantee that we do not miss out alarms in AlarmsOne. So once you have configured this escalation policy, you have to associate this escalation policy in notification profile. To add a notification profile, again go to the settings menu, and in the left pane you could see notification profiles option. Click on the add button and you could see the form for the notification profile. Here I have configured a notification profile for the application list of ManageEngine Op Manager, New Relic and Site 24x7. So whenever an alert comes in from Op Manager, New Relic or Site 24x7, this notification profile will start to work. And once the alert comes in, I check the criteria for this alert. Here I have mentioned the criteria as the severity matches critical. So whenever I get an alert from any one of these application list matching the criteria of severity equals critical, then this profile gets satisfied and the alert is escalated to the person who is immediately in the escalation level. Here it is the schedule. So depending on the duration at which an alert comes in, I choose the person who is on call in my shift and send the notification to that person in my schedule. So in this way, we guarantee that we send right alert to the right person at the right time. Then we have this calendar view for schedules in AlarmsOne. This calendar view helps you to get a quick glance of the order in which the shift works across the multiple days. Here on the right side, you could see the option to filter out the schedules. Here it is chosen as all schedules. You could choose one particular schedule to see the calendar view for that particular schedule alone. Then we have this today's view. In today's view, you could see people working today in shift order in a note view. So this will be helpful to you to see how the shift order works for today. So with this, I conclude about explaining the schedules feature in AlarmsOne. Now over to Jensen. He will explain you about overwrite feature.
There are times when your on call person may be unavailable for 1 or 2 hours, or when too many alerts from applications flood his dashboard. It puts him in a position where it's difficult for him to act on all these alerts before it's too late. During these times, you can override his shift with another user to transfer the responsibilities so that you never miss an alert. Let's see how you can override a user shift with another user with the use of few scenarios. I have a scenario where Gary is part of a schedule called US first quarter, and due to some reasons, Gary won't be available for an hour on a particular day, and John has to take over Gary's shift for an hour. To configure a override, you have to go to menu and settings and go to overrides, and you can click add override button. And under the username, you have to select the user whose shift should be overridden. In our case, it's Gary, and the shift is overridden by John. And here you have to select the time from which the shift should be overridden and until when. Here I have selected from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. In this case, Gary's shift from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. will be overridden by John. I have another scenario where Gary is part of a schedule US first quarter, and Gary won't be available for an hour on a particular day, and we have John and Harold to take over Gary's shift. It's fair only if the workload is equally shared between John and Harold. To configure this override, go to overrides, and under username you select Gary, and the shift should be overridden by John and Harold, and in the time I select 6 am and 7 am. Here, Gary's shift from 6 am to 7 am will be overridden by John and Harold. AlarmsOne equally splits the workload and assigns it to the users. Here, John has to work from 6 am to 6:30 am, and Harold has to take care of Gary's shift from 6:30 to 7 am. In AlarmsOne, we have a provision where you can exclude a schedule from an override. For example, if the user is part of two schedules that overlap each other, and if you have to override the user's shift only in one schedule, you can choose to exclude the other schedule in override. Here we have Gary, who is part of two schedules. One is US first quarter, which runs from 6 am to 2 pm, and the other is US data center ops, which runs from 8 am to 4 pm. Here, from 8 am to 2 pm, these two schedules overlap each other. On a particular day from 8 am to 12 pm, the applications that are associated with US first quarter schedule send too many alerts, which put Gary in a position where it's difficult for him to respond to alerts from the applications associated with schedule US data center ops. So Kevin has to take over Gary's shift in the schedule US data center ops from 8 am to 12 pm. Let's see how to configure this override. Here I choose Gary as the username whose shift should be overridden, and it is overridden by Kevin. And here I have chosen to exclude schedules US first quarter. I need Kevin to override only Gary's second schedule, which is US data center ops. So I choose to exclude US first quarter, which means from 8 am to 12 pm, Gary's US data center ops schedule will be overridden by Kevin, and the alerts during 8 am to 12 pm from US first quarter schedule will be taken care by Gary. That's it with the webinar. I hope it was useful for you, and if you have any questions, you can post it and we'll be happy to answer to them. And if you have any different team setup and if you would like to learn how to define schedules for your team, you can ask us or you can write to us at support@alarmsone.com. You can reach out to us using our phone numbers, or you can write to us at support@alarmsone.com. You can also participate in discussions in our forums. If you need detailed instructions about configuring different features, you can visit our user guide. We would love to hear your feedback about this webinar. To make this webinar series even better, please reply back to the feedback email which will be sent after this webinar. Hope to see you in our next webinar, which is about notifying the right person at the right time using escalation policies. And thanks for joining us. Have a great day.